So good morning, everyone. We'll begin with the reflections on universal well-being. May I abiding well-being in freedom from affliction, in freedom from hostility, in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety, and may I maintain well-being in myself. May everyone abide in well-being, in freedom from hostility, in freedom from ill will, in freedom from anxiety, and may they maintain well-being in themselves. May all beings released from all suffering, and may they not be parted from the good fortune they have attained. When they act upon intention, all beings are the owners of their action, and inherit its results. Their future is born from such action, companion to such action, and results will be their home. All actions with intention, be they skillful or harmful, of such acts there will be the heirs. So good morning again. We're coming to the end of our 3-month retreat here at the Berkeley Buddhist Monastery in Redwood Vihara. I was reflecting on what would be something worth sharing in the morning. And a practice in the Sangha that came to my heart, that the Buddha gave to the monks after a long retreat period, was the pavarana, the ceremony, you could say, of forgiveness. And you could say that after many months of practicing together, being together, sometimes little resentments, frustrations, kind of hostility, misunderstandings build up. So at the end of the 3-month retreat, or the Vasa period in the Buddhist tradition, the summer rains, the Buddha has a practice for the monks to get together and to ask for forgiveness for the things that I have done with body, speech, and mind that perhaps hurt you, intentionally or unintentionally. I ask for your forgiveness. I wish that we don't carry this animosity, this much misunderstanding into the future. And the community says, yes, we receive your wish to, you could say, repent. We receive your forgiveness. We give forgiveness. We let go of hostility. And I think it's actually a very beautiful practice. You see, when monks leave the monastery after a stay, they often say, please forgive me for anything I have done that might have caused difficulty for you or the community. I really sincerely ask for your forgiveness. It's often the last thing we do at the monastery among monastics. It's a very simple practice, but I think it's also a very beautiful practice, because it acknowledges that living in community is not easy. And even with the best of intentions, frictions can develop. And so I was just reflecting on myself after these 3 months with spending a lot of time with Jing Weisher and the 4 men here. And maybe just sharing a few things that I thought I personally would like to ask for forgiveness for. One, I think, if I were to start with Jing Wei Shi, is I feel that oftentimes I'm very impulsive in general, is my nature, perhaps being Aries. And I'm asking for the forgiveness for the times that I've maybe caused him tension and stress because of my impulsivity, wanting to do things immediately. And his willingness to be patient with me and to listen and try to come up with something that's best for the community. Or sometimes just to be able to listen to me and help me find some inner clarity. So maybe that's one thing that I think I'm very appreciative for Jing Wei Shi, and also ask for his forgiveness for maybe the harm or the stress that I've caused. Another thing for the men here in the monastery, I think it's similar as well. That sometimes I speak things abruptly. Sometimes in meetings I might say something that I haven't thought through completely, and maybe in a moment of irritation or of judgment, I kind of say something that is harsh or insensitive. And so I know that in the role that I'm playing, which has a lot more authority, you could say, that my words carry a lot more weight. And so I want to apologize for any things that I've said that could be cause pain and kind of tension in a way that isn't helpful for the spiritual path. You're not coming from a place of real care and support. And I thought of one thing just very concretely as a story that happened fairly recently that I could see in my own process was something that's worth reflecting on. Was during lunchtime, or right before lunch, and we had finished the ceremony here in the Buddha hall, and we went to the dining hall, getting ready for the meal. And as people were getting the food together, I remember that we actually had the heat on in the Buddha hall, so I thought maybe I should go turn off the heat. And so I came turn off the heat in the Buddha hall. And then, I think I was turning on the heat for Jing Shi, because he was going to recite the Buddha's name soon. And I was in the Buddha hall, there were some donors here. One was somebody who was going to help with fixing some of the furniture here at the monastery. And so I knew how to explain to her what had to be done. And so since they were here, I just started explaining a little bit, and she started asking questions. And what was maybe hoping just for a brief exchange and just to point something out became a kind of a back and forth. I think it probably took maybe 2 or 3 minutes, and I said, "Oh, I have to go." And I went to the dining hall. I could see all the men there just waiting for me. And in my heart, I felt pretty bad. Basically having the community wait for me right before their meal, which I'm sure they're hungry. And as I was eating that meal, I definitely had in my heart this feeling of, gosh, I should have been more sensitive to be aware of the community and not get caught up in a task that was right before me. And so after the meal and we did the 3 refuges, I tried to apologize, but I think I was a little nervous, so it came up pretty quick, and then I quickly moved to what we're going to do for the day. But in my heart, there's a wish, I really wanted to acknowledge that, I really respect the group and people's time. And I think that's just one example of something just want to be apologize for, to ask for forgiveness for. And there's probably many more things. This is kind of not a time to go into many, many details, but I thought as a community, cultivating the path together, this practice of asking for forgiveness from each other is kind of a way that allows things to stay in harmony, because we all make mistakes, we all do things out of our habits, and in this process it's not something we can change immediately, but to say that, I'm aware of this and I'm working on this, I think goes a long way for the community to feel like, we're here in this together, we're working together. And so maybe just with a little bit of time left, I also found a story that I felt was inspiring. And this is from the other side of receiving forgiveness. And it comes, I'm not sure if it's exactly from a sutta, but from online, people attribute it to the Buddha. And it's such a good story that I think might as well. And it starts with a businessman who's really angry at the Buddha. I think his children joined the monastery and are spending a lot of time practicing, and he wanted his children to live a successful life, carry on the family line. So he's really upset with the Buddha. He feels like they're just wasting their lives following the Buddha. So he makes his resolve to really tell the Buddha off. So during this big gathering, he goes in front of the Buddha, and the Buddha's there sitting very peacefully with all the monks. And he looks at him and he's really angry, but from the Buddha, he doesn't have any words to say. Just the Buddha's peaceful presence has him speechless. So he just stands there, doesn't know what to say. Finally, he's just so angry, he just spits on the Buddha in his face. And the Buddha just looks at him, still very calm, no response. Now, of course, all the other monks around are, something in their heart goes, oh, this man is really out of line, But because they see the Buddha's presence, they kind of try to let go of their hostility. And this man, looks at the Buddha, no response, says, gosh, and just leaves. So that day, the man begins to really reflect on his actions, because he's never had a response like that before when he was angry. Somebody who was fully peaceful and didn't react. And he couldn't sleep at night, tossing and turning. And finally he reflected himself, you know what? That was really wrong of me. That was not the right thing to do. I have to go and ask for forgiveness. So the next day he goes in front of the Buddha again, by a lot of people, in front of all the monks. And he bows, and he kneels down, and he tells the Buddha, I really want to apologize, to ask for your forgiveness for yesterday, for what I did. And the Buddha says, no, I don't forgive you. And everyone's in kind of shock, right? What? The Buddha won't forgive this person? The Buddha is so compassionate. Everybody he forgives and includes. How can he not forgive them? And the Buddha says, I don't forgive you because you're not the same person as what it was yesterday. And the guy goes, what? No, I was here yesterday. You remember me? I was here. I came and spat in your face. He says, no. The person in front of me here is a wonderful person who's repentant and wants to live a good life. I don't need to forgive this person. And that had a big impact on the person's life, because they realized, the Buddha didn't hold any resentment from the first get-go. He didn't need to forgive him. And he could recognize that here is another person. So on the flip side for us, in terms of being in community and maybe people who have done things that have harmed us, to say, you know what? Every day is a new day. Every moment we're becoming new people. Let go of past wrongs, and together we'll cultivate the way. So, just some reflections on forgiveness.
So maybe I would join our forgiveness ceremony. And there's actually 3 steps, 1 vow is the repentance renewal, the part of truly open our heart and see that places when we make mistakes, and not in the way that we need to kind of beat ourselves, but this is the opportunity to grow, to learn, and then create an harmony in the group. So start with Jin Chuan, and he's also very patient with me, I can say. There are moments that, especially early in the morning, when we want to discuss about something, and it's a lot of things to discuss, about the program and so forth. The morning are not the best moments for me. I also want to rest or to have a space in my mind. And it happens sometimes I have kind of a negativity, or just kind of, oh wow, I don't know, this is not a good idea, this is not a good idea. So this kind of sense of not willing to cooperate, I can say. And of course, there's many different also instances that probably I am kind of impatient. And also for all the 4 participants, that I have a tendency sometimes to maybe to joke too much, or to have this kind of habit to make a kind of a comments which maybe intentionally, I don't say I want to harm anyone, but it can create a kind of sense of, this is not appropriate what you says here, or it was not skillful, or maybe that the sense of kind of humor or joke maybe can someone felt inside. It was not funny at all. It was not make fun of me, so definitely I have to be aware of it, and also in terms of the listening, maybe sometimes I don't put so much space to really deeply connect to someone, to 4 of you or all of us, and kind of come to quick answer without really considering, the others' feelings and thoughts and so forth. So I try my best to learn from these mistakes and try to not repeat them again in the next 3 months period of time.
Yeah.
And Ajit Chuan says, I think this is a very beautiful way to approach it ourselves, because sometimes we do out of our moods, or have but not the best days. Sometimes we maybe feel a bit depressed or tired and so forth, and our responses can be not very kind. But many things also we do unintentionally, but also can create something. We talk a lot about the culture differences, and this can create a lot of tension if we don't able to deeply listen others. That sometimes the kind of Western direct way to saying something can cause a kind of stress on someone. So if I anything say what was inappropriate, please forgive me, all of you, and as well all our volunteers who work with us. a lot. We have very sometimes dynamic energy, and we have to make a decisions as a second and so forth. So is the place to grow and the place to be more aware. And if I also cause any difficulty for all volunteers, all supporters in the monastery from the period of time, I'm also apologize.
And of course, everyone online as well. Everyone's been so patient with Jing Sure and myself, listening to us share every morning. That's a lot of patience.
There are a lot of patience, yeah.
Okay, well, let's do 3 steps, 1 bow. 3步1拜